Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, hello everybody. So, as promised, I'm doing a video today for those of you who are not in class this week about UK Parliament. This is the first half, the second half will be next week. So that's what Parliament looks like, with Big Ben on the right, as you know. And the plan, House of Lords is here, House of Commons here, and in the middle, the central lobby. And you need to know this word, lobby. In English, you probably know the first meaning, which is a pressure group, a political pressure group. But also a lobby is a space, like in a hotel, for example, next to a reception, that's the hotel lobby, especially in American English. And in politics, in Parliament, it's a place where people vote, as you'll see. This is what it looks like from the air. So the House of Commons here, House of Lords behind. And this is the inside of the House of Commons. As you can see, it's designed for a two-party system. The government on this side, the opposition facing. And in the UK Parliament, for every government minister, there is a minister of the opposition. If you like, it's called a shadow cabinet. So, for example, the Foreign Secretary has a shadow foreign secretary, and the shadow cabinet sits directly opposite the government on the front benches, and you need to know this word, front bencher, okay? Everybody sitting behind on either side are ordinary MPs, and these people are known as backbenchers. In the middle you have the speaker. This is what the plan looks like. You've got this in your booklets. So just to explain, there is at the top the no division lobby, at the bottom the I division lobby. No if you're against the bill, I if you're in favour. So when a vote happens, all of the MPs come out of the chamber and stand in one of the two lobbies where they are counted. Old, archaic, typically British. That's what the makeup of Parliament looks like. You probably won't see everything, but you can look on the PowerPoint. You can see the colours anyway. The Conservative Party at the top has the big majority of 80 seats, followed by Labour, and then the Scottish National Party in Scotland. And then all the other parties, some of which I'll explain about. In terms of the country, this is what it looks like. And what is interesting is the contrast between England, which is mainly blue, so mainly Conservative, and Scotland, which is mainly yellow, so they voted massively for the Scottish National Party. And you'll be able to see on the PowerPoint, Northern Ireland, there's a dark green part here, which is Sinn Féin, the Republican Party, so they wanted United Ireland. And at the top, the orange part, this is the DUP, Democratic Unionist Party, who are in favour of staying in the United Kingdom. And it's interesting to see that it's divided geographically. And on the right, you can see London, probably, much more red, much more cosmopolitan, much less conservative. Interesting also to contrast the map between 2019 and 1997. This is the big difference. Look at all the red. This is what Labour has lost. Labour used to be very popular in Scotland, not anymore. Labour used to be very popular in the north of England, not anymore. Going back, all this part here voted Conservative in December 2019 for the first time ever. Why? Because of Brexit. Because the north of England here wanted Brexit, and Labour had a position which was neither for nor against, and they had a problematic leader who I'll come to in a minute. The political parties. Firstly, the Conservative Party, so Boris Johnson, who is the Prime Minister. The Conservative Party is basically made up of three different factions. Traditional Conservatives, people like Jacob Rees-Mogg, so faith, family flag, strong Christians, big family people, and very patriotic, very traditional. The second group is the free market Conservatives, people like Priti Patel, who is the Home Secretary, so they are in favour of no government intervention, low taxes, and the power of the market. So Hayek as opposed to Keynes. And finally, One Nation Conservatives. In the past, this would have been David Cameron. Today, somebody like Nicky Morgan, and since 2019, Boris Johnson has come out as a One Nation Conservative. This means they are more centrist, and they want the whole country to support them. Common sense. Basically, it means nobody is left out. It's just a type of working class conservatism. Labour Party. The current leader is Jeremy Corbyn, but not for much longer. There is an election process at the moment to replace him with one of three people, one centrist, one centre-left, and one left. It's a party with two wings. Social Democrat, on the one hand, who are centrists, much like the Democrats in America, and on the other hand, the left wing, who are socialists, and in the case of Jeremy Corbyn, Marxists. It's very clear why Labour did so badly. Even if you do not vote in Britain for one person, you are voting for a local candidate, but the leader of a party does give the image of the party. And Jeremy Corbyn, well, he's been a disaster. Liberal Democrats, they have no leader. Their leader lost her seat in the last election. It's a centrist party, centrist, social democrat. It's a good party, very good ideas. Sadly, not politically very strong. They have moments of being popular, like last year, but when it came to the election, boom, did really badly. And they only have 11 MPs. In Scotland, the Scottish National Party, led by Nicola Sturgeon, they want independence for Scotland, and they won't get it. We'll come back to that in a few weeks' time with devolution. It's a party which is fairly recent, but very strong, of course, in Scotland, and we'll see about independence. In Northern Ireland, the Democratic Unionist Party, led by the formidable Arlene Foster. This party is very right-wing, pro-Brexit. It's the party with which Theresa May did a deal last year, or 2017 now, to form a coalition government. They are against a lot of things. They're anti-abortion, anti-same-sex marriage. They're a bit old-fashioned and a bit strange. The election system. In Britain we have a first past the post system. You need to know this term, first past the post. This means in each seat, in each constituency, there are 650, there is an election. It's a parliamentary system, and whoever gets the most votes in each seat wins the local election. So you don't need to have 50% or more. You can win with 30%, 35%. It depends how many candidates, how many votes, and the elections take place on Thursdays, and this is a big disadvantage of the system. It does not normally produce a government with a popular majority in the country. For example, in 2019, the Conservatives won 56% of the seats, but only had 43.6% of the vote nationally. Because if you have 650 seats, the number of voters can change according to each seat, and if you take the whole thing nationally, you will inevitably come to a total which is less than 50%. And in 1997, Labour had a huge majority. They had 64% of the seats, but they actually had less than the Conservatives have today. They only had 43.2% of the popular vote in the country. So this is a big disadvantage of the system. And in fact, only once since 1922 has a government actually represented the majority of the country. In 1931, when there was an economic crisis, it was a national coalition government. The second big disadvantage concerns smaller parties like the Liberal Democrats, because they never get a fair share. In 2010, the Liberal Democrats had 23% of the vote in the country, but only 8.8% of the seats. However, it does have advantages. Normally, it produces majorities. Only 4 times since 1922 have there been hung parliaments. You need to know this term, hung parliament. This is a parliament with no majority. It happened twice in the last 10 years, 2010, 2017. So there were coalition governments. So normally this system produces strong and stable governments. There has been an attempt in the past to change the election system. In 2011 there was a referendum to change it, but 68% voted to keep the current system, so it's not going to change. The Fixed Term Parliament Act I've already explained. I'm not going to do so again, and we'll carry on next week. Okay, thank you.